I'm the Princess of the
Moon and Beyond. This is your host, Luna Eclipse. I am going to read part one of World of Warcraft War Crimes. I know, I said the first time that I was going to read part 1, but I realized my tongue was tied, so we're just going to read it now. At least part of it. I'll read the next part of chapter 1 after we get so far in here. It really all depends. It looks too peaceful and beautiful to be the prison of someone so horrible, Lady Janna Promoun mused as she approached the Temple of the White Tiger. She, the Blue Dragon Kalecgos, Ranger General Pharessa Windrider, the King Varian Wyron rode in a cart drawn by a steady-footed yak, whose fluffy fur indicated the beast had been freshly bathed. In acknowledgment of the honor status of the passengers, the cart had been upholstered with silk cushions in vibrant shades, though the travelers did bounce a bit when a wheel hit a rut. "Better than he deserves," says Pharessa. She fixed her gaze on Varian. "You should not have stopped Goyle from killing him, your Majesty. There is no other justice for that monster than death, and even that is more merciful than what he has done." The Ranger General's voice was sharp, and Janna couldn't blame her, especially as she completely shared Vanessa's sentiments. Garrosh Hellscream have been responsible for the destruction. No, that was too kind, too cynical a word for what he's done. The obliteration of the city-state of Theramore. The deaths of 100, all occurring in the space of a heartbeat, could be laid at his feet. The then war chief of the Horde had contrived to trick several of the Alliance's finest generals and admirals into assembling to Theramore, where they planned for the sort of warfare that involved a honest fight. Instead, Garrosh had dropped a mana bomb, its power magnified by an artifact stolen from the Blue Dragonflight, into the heart of the city. Everyone, everything in the bomb's blast radius had died. Janna shook her head to clear the awful memory of precisely how some of them, people she loved, had been killed. Janna Promoun would never again be the Lady of Theramore. A gentle touch on her arm brought her back to the present. Janna looked up to the Blue Dragon Kalecgos, who had been the one good thing to come out of the disaster. He and Janna might never have found one another if he had not come to Theramore asking for her aid and recover the focusing iris. If tides of war had bought Janna a loving companion, they had bore away that of Vanessa Windrider. Ronan, the Archmage who had held Janna's present title of leader of Kirintor, had stood at the heart of the city, pulling the mana bomb to himself in order to magically obtain the blast as best he could. In the process, he had forcibly pushed Janna through the portal to safety. Janna, Pharessa, the Night Elf Chandris Feathermore, and a few of her centiles had been the only survivors. The leader of the Silver Covenant had would never truly recovered from the loss. Pharessa had always been strong, outspoken, but now her words were barbed and hated, cold, bitter as the ice of Northrend dwelt in her heart. Think the light the ice thawed when she spoke to her twin sons, Garamor and Galadin. Not so long ago, Varian might have risen to bait and grown angry with Pharessa for her open condemnation of his choice. Now he merely says, "You may yet get your wish, Pharessa. Remember that Taran Zun promised." After Varian had presented Goyle, formerly hailed as Thrall, once war chief of the Horde and now leader of the Shamanic order known as the Orthen Ring, go figure, from dealing Garrosh the death blow that might of the mighty Doomhammer, Garrosh had been delivered into the paws of the Pandarian, a people whom both Horde and Alliance trusted, and had endured their shares of harms at Garrosh's hands. Taran Zu, Lord of the Shadowpan, had assumed them that Garrosh would be tired, and justice would be metered out all. The Orc was presently imprisoned in the cells beneath the Temple of the White Tiger, under heavy guard, and 2 days ago word had come from the celestial Kunzin, own emissary. We request your presence at my temple. Garrosh Hellscream's fate shall be decided. Nothing more. Every Alliance leader had received the same letter, and Janna saw some of them at the front of the hill, getting into similar refurbished carts from the trek up to the temple. Queen Reagent Moratharian, one of the 3 joint leaders of the dwarves, appeared to be arguing with an unruffled Pandarian, pointing with annoyance at the cart. No doubt she did not find it suitable for her royal self. I remember, Veressa, and it seems to be important to the Celestials, and if it is so cursed important, why were we not allowed to just fly to the temple? Why waste time with this cart? We are here by their invitation, Calic said. If they are willing to wait until we arrive by their method, we should be too. It's not that long a ride. Spoken with the patience of a dragon. I am what I am, he replied, seemingly unperturbed by the comment. Yes, thought Janna, he was indeed what he was, who he was, and she was glad of it. Though much yet remained for them to sort through in their relationship, she tried to settle back in the embroidered cushions and enjoy the slow ride up to the curved path. Pandaria exuded remarkable peace and offered beauty wherever one's eye fell. Cherry trees exploded with pink blossoms. A few fluttered about as the wind swayed the branches. Statues of white tigers guarded the first glanceful gateway. The path began to grow steeper, and the cart made its steady way forward. In the cold press in, Janna was grateful, for the heat of the various braziers had passed and warmed the cloak more tightly about her slender frame. The earth bore first a scalient dusting of snow, then drift as the altitude increased. Janna became aware of the profound sense of lightness, and all at once she understood. She well knew the import of the casting a spell with a focus and purposefulness. It was suddenly clear to her that in her own way the Celestials were giving their guests chance to precisely that. But taking the leisurely cart ride up the mountain, skirting the outlining interior structures, and being exposed to beauty and peacefulness the entire way, Janna and her companions had the opportunity to set aside the duties of their everyday world aright, mentally fresh. She permitted the air, scent with subtle fragrance of cherry blossoms, to cleanse her mind. She Calic were seated so they faced backwards, so Janna didn't see what twisted Veressa's beauty visage into scowl thinned Varian's lips as the cart halted before the first of the suede rope bridges. The high elves had automatically went to her side, and then curled into the fist as she remembered they had been asked to bring no weapons to the temple. What are they doing here? Veressa snapped, as they answered their own question. Well, Garrosh is their former leader. I suppose they would be presented when his fate is announced. Janna turned in her seat, looked up at the courtyard of the temple proper. Her eyes widened slightly. Her gut clenched as she reminded of Garrosh's tactic at Theramore, assembling the greatest Alliance military tactics in one place, as it seemed that the invitation the Alliance leaders had received was acceded to the Horde as well. The blue-skinned troll, Valjean, of course, was there, Varian's counterpart as the new war chief. Would he be better than an orc? Worse? Did it matter? Not even the former war chief's thrall, who now went by his birth name of Goyle, had curbed the Horde's hunger of violence, and he had tried. That's where I'm going to stop for now. I hope you will continue to listen, and you have a great day. Lunar Eclipse over and out.